Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Anarchy in America. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. We are a nation of laws no longer. We saw that yesterday in the Senate as 44 Democrats and 1 Republican, Kirk of Illinois, voted against defunding sanctuary cities as well as punishing illegal alien felons who defy deportation. 45 senators failed to uphold federal law, violating their oath of office. Where's the outrage? Sad truth, there's very little. In San Francisco yesterday, the Board of Supervisors directly insulted the family of Kate Steinle, the young woman who was murdered by an illegal alien felon who was released from a San Francisco jail after federal authorities asked the sheriff to hold him. The supervisors voted to retain their sanctuary city policy and not cooperate with federal authorities when asked to detain criminals. And if you think that's outrageous, listen to this soundbite directed at Kate Steinle's family and supporters.
We cannot allow one event to dictate 25 years of our city's policies towards undocumented immigrants in our city. And more importantly, we cannot allow hateful conservative news stations to drive how we respond to incidents in our city. I'm not afraid of Fox News, and they don't influence how I make my policy decisions here in San Francisco.
So let me be very clear. That woman is a disgrace. And if I were the Attorney General of the United States, I would immediately place her under arrest. I might not win the case, but I would send a message to all subversive office holders in this country that if you do not obey federal law, you yourself will be prosecuted. And where is President Obama on upholding the law? What does he have to say about his own party's vote in the Senate? The president is silent. Now, if Congress doesn't believe immigration law is good for America, change it. But don't defy it, because then every single American can pick and choose what law to obey under equal justice for all, right? It's no question that our elected officials in Washington and in places like San Francisco are actively undermining the rule of law in this country. What kind of message does it send when the Senate condones a city like San Francisco releasing a 7-time foreign felon who then kills an innocent woman? As for the city of San Francisco, it's hopeless. A free-fire zone of anti-establishment behavior. As Talking Points stated yesterday, there comes a point when the American people have to rise up and elect responsible people to run the country. Throw out the irresponsible people. Because right now, you know what? Things are officially out of control here. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction. Joining us in Washington, Senator Ted Cruz, who did vote yesterday to defund sanctuary cities and pass Kate's law. First of all, Senator, I objected to coupling Kate's law with the sanctuary city vote, and you've introduced legislation to vote on Kate's law as a standalone. Why did that not happen?
Well, Bill, I agree with you, and I'm the author of Kate's law in the Senate, introduced it months ago, and certainly have been pressing for a vote on it as a standalone. Republican leadership decided to bind them together. I've filed it again, this time on the Senate floor, so it's available on the calendar to be pulled up directly, Kate's law, for a vote on it. I hope that leadership does that. I think you're right that we ought to have a clear vote.
When you talk leadership, you're talking Mitch McConnell. Basically, yes. He's the leader of the Senate, right?
Mitch McConnell, as majority leader, decides what to allow on the floor of the Senate.
All right. Now, I tried to call Mitch McConnell, and he would not take my call, which I thought was kind of disrespectful, because all I wanted was information. And I have a very simple question. Why did you decide to put sanctuary cities with Kate's law when you knew that the Democrats would filibuster and no vote would take place? Everyone knew that, correct, Senator? Everyone knew there wasn't going to be a vote, right?
I think everyone knew that was the likely outcome.
So why would Senator McConnell do that? For what reason?
Well, as I explained yesterday on the Senate floor, there was value to having a vote yesterday to get people on record, but it was likely to be just a show vote because the Democrats would block it. And if we're going to get this passed into law, the only way I believe to do so is to attach it to must-pass legislation. And that's what I urged Republican leadership to do.
People don't know what must-pass legislation is. What is that?
So that means legislation, either the continuing resolution or an omnibus appropriations bill or the debt ceiling, legislation that has to pass into law if you want to get an actual change in law.
Why can't you, look, isn't it worth the American people knowing exactly who will not vote for Kate's law? Just that law. See, sanctuary cities is a bigger deal, and the liberals can hide behind all kinds of theory. But Kate's law isn't. It's, are you going to protect the American people from aggravated felons who come back after being deported or not? Yes or no? And I think it's instructive for the American people to see who says no. Because then anyone running against them for the Senate can say, look, are you going to vote for somebody who's looking out for the aggravated felons who live in foreign countries? Is that who you want to serve? That really, really puts pressure on the other side, does it not?
Bill, I think you're exactly right. And so I have been pressing for months for a standalone vote on Kate's law, which is my bill. And let me say thank you for all of the leadership you have provided.
That's okay, because I'm not doing it for any other reason but for Kate Steinle's family. And they're coming up right behind you. And that's the reason. And I'm doing it because it's the right thing, but primarily because I promised them. All right, now, let's talk about...
Bill, let me say, I've had the opportunity to visit with Kate Steinle's family. They came and testified in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Yep. And what I urged Senate Democrats to do is look them in the eyes and explain why they are choosing to stand with convicted felons like the murderer of Kate Steinle rather than with the American people, the people we should be standing and protecting.
That's what it's all about. You know, I think Mitch McConnell will finally put it up for a standalone, and we encourage all Americans to call his office in Washington. We have our number on BillO'Reilly.com to suggest that he do that. You think it's going to be up for a vote, too, right?
I certainly hope so, and I think the most effective way to make that happen is for the American people to hold our politicians accountable.
Absolutely. All right, Paul Ryan looks like he's going to run for Speaker of the House. You support that?
I'm staying out of that.
Come on. You're a powerful senator. You're a conservative guy. Do you support Paul Ryan or not?
It's a question for House Republicans to make, but I'll tell you this.
So I'm going to say you don't. I'm going to say no, because if you supported him, I know you would have said, look, I think the guy's right for the job. So you don't want him there.
Actually, Bill, I have consistently stayed out of House leadership elections, but let me tell you what I think the next speaker should be. The next speaker should be someone who takes seriously honoring the promises we made to the men and women who elected us. That's what Republican leadership should be.
He's certainly a serious man. He may not be as conservative as you are, but that's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, come on, Senator. Do people have to be as conservative as you are in order to serve?
I am genuinely staying out of it. I understand that it makes for better TV for me to get in the middle of that, but I'm going to leave that to House Republicans.
All right. President Bush, anonymous source, so we don't put credibility to anonymous sources. I have to tell the audience. But it was widely reported that he didn't like you or whatever it may be. I don't know if that's true. You care to comment on that?
Oh, listen, I like and respect President Bush. I was honored to work for him for a number of years. I don't think it's surprising that he's supporting his brother's campaign and that he's attacking the candidates who they see as a threat to that campaign. But, from my perspective, I met my wife, Heidi, working for George W. Bush, and I will always be grateful to him, and I have no intention of reciprocating and saying an ill word about him.
All right. Well, that's good. Did I ask you about Paul Ryan? Did I? I forgot. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah. So you're supporting him then? Okay. I can't get you. All right. You got a big debate next week. You got to do well, or you're toast. This is a no-spin zone. If you don't do well, you're done. You got any plans to break out of that big pack?
Well, it's interesting. The first two debates, after the first debate, we raised $1 million in just 100 hours. People all over the country going to tedcruz.org. The second debate, we raised $1 million in 48 hours. People all over the country going to tedcruz.org. So I'm hopeful the third debate will see continuing building momentum. And, Bill, what I've been most encouraged by is we're seeing more and more conservatives unifying behind our campaign. The moderates are fighting like cats and dogs, and conservatives are coming together. That's a very encouraging development in the race.
All right, Senator. Get Kate's Law on the floor, please. Let us know if we can help you. Thank you.